You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And this is our picks show for Week 15. Don't know about you, Boyd, but I took a look at these games, and it's going to be a challenge.
There's not much.
So, well, I hope you have more ideas than I do, but we've got a full slate of 16, as we will till the end of the regular season. So, let's get right at it.
Let's do it.
All right, the Thursday night game is Arizona +4 at St. Louis. We don't bet Thursday games, and I don't want to bet this anyway.
No, I think I'm going to take St. Louis here.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too, but
if Ellington was healthy and not on IR, I would take Arizona here, but rookie running back against an up-and-coming defense. Their defense is playing how we thought they'd play all year.
Yeah, and that begs the question as to where they were for the first 6 games of the year. Because it's not like there's been a lot of personnel change, guys coming back from injury or anything. But yeah, they're playing pretty much exactly where we thought they would be. So, yeah, I like St. Louis. I don't think home field makes a big deal to them. But Drew Stanton, I think, is pretty shaky under heavy pressure. Like, he did not look good in the Seattle game.
But can St. Louis score against Arizona's defense?
That's
the other question,
too. I mean, it's one thing to blank the Raiders and the Skins. Arizona is certainly not that team.
No, and their defense could put some points on the board for them. Although that loss on the road to the fucking Falcons,
yeah, and
doesn't leave a whole lot of confidence.
As you bring up often, these Thursday games favor the home team.
Yeah,
and Arizona didn't have a walk in the park against KC last week, particularly on the line. I think I'm going to stick with St. Louis on this.
Yeah, me too. I picked the home team, I think, in every game pretty much this year, so why change now?
Yeah. And plus, I kind of like a lot of things about St. Louis. I mean, they're a typical Fisher 8-8 team right now, but if they keep him around, he'll throw in that 1-12-4 or 13-3. No, he usually lobs in one good season.
Yeah, but they don't have enough talent there,
not
especially
right
at
now.
The quarterback position.
That can be changed, though. They've got good running backs. They've got good lines, both sides of the ball. No wideouts, that's true. But, all right, moving to the Sunday games. Cincinnati is a pick'em at Cleveland.
Oh, fuck.
And I might mention, this will feature the starting debut of Johnny Football. That was made official today.
I still don't understand. If you were going to do it, why didn't you do it last week? What were you waiting? Now this is the do-or-die game for them.
Yeah.
Why would you do it now?
Well, yeah, the argument to not do it last week was if he struggles against Indy, then people will be too quick to write him off. But why this week is better than last week? Hoyer is nothing better than a good backup. I mean, I think he'll have a long career riding the pine. I think he's proven thus far this season that he's not a starting quarterback.
No.
He just isn't. So, that said, I really don't want to touch this game much.
No, I don't either. Cincinnati seems to be the safe play here.
Who did they lost their best defensive player, though.
Yeah, Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah. Burfict is done for the year.
But he's been off and on all year anyway.
But he usually has missed the losses I mean, based on that Pittsburgh game, they can't seem to stop the run, which admittedly Cleveland doesn't have a running game.
Crowell's not bad.
No, it's true. It's going against our futures bet, but you know what? I'm leaning towards Cleveland here. About the one thing going against it is it'll be, or should be, a vengeance game for Cincinnati after the way Cleveland destroyed them at home the last time they met.
This is Cincinnati's playoff life, too, in this game. You got to think they come out with something.
Yeah? I don't trust Cincy.
Well, I don't either, but how can you fucking pick Manziel? He's shown nothing. Like, if you waited...
Cincy doesn't have a defense. I mean, like that's one good thing about this spot is there is very little of interest on Cincinnati's defense, period.
Yeah, but what... Manziel is no different to me than fucking RG3, Geno Smith, EJ Manuel, all these guys that were drafted in the last couple of years that none have panned out.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's a career outlook, not a game outlook.
Yeah, well, it's a game outlook because if he was that good, if he was showing that greatness in practice, they've had plenty of time, many times, to pull fucking Hoyer. After that game in Jacksonville, when he shit the bed, he's shit the bed many a times.
Oh yeah, and he's had moments of brilliance and moments of utter ineptitude. So that said, it's another big game for Dalton. We know how he performs in big games. I mean, they had the chance to take total dominance against what I thought was a fairly pedestrian Pittsburgh team. And they shouldn't have been on the field by the look of that game.
Well, no, it was only the fourth quarter they fell apart. I don't know I didn't watch any of that game, so I don't know how it fell apart, but they were ahead going into the fourth quarter. I'm taking Cincinnati. I can't take Manziel in his first start. He did nothing. In the preseason, he was under 50% completion. Yeah. So he's going to come in a must-win game and be perfect? Nope.
You make a compelling case, but I still think this one is just a hunch bet. I can't. For every negative, I can find a positive. For every positive, I can find a negative. These are two very average teams.
Yeah, Cincinnati should be able to run the ball. AJ Green looks to be healthy now.
Well, since he should have been able to run the ball the last 2 weeks. And they've managed to combine both backs for 15 carries and under 100 yards. Bravo.
Yeah, every time we think Cincinnati's done, they do exactly what every other team has done. We think Pittsburgh's done, they win. We think Baltimore's done, they win. I'm taking Cincy.
Okay, I really hope you're right on this, but I'm going to take Cleveland. All right, the next game up. Green Bay -5 at Buffalo. I don't hate Green Bay in this game.
No, me either. Only thing I hate is they struggled in Minnesota.
Yeah, but they were also laying 9. Yeah, it's the same style of defense.
Typical weather, same weather as in Minnesota.
Weather shouldn't affect them.
I know.
I mean, you watched that Monday night game too, and it...
No, but it did. Something affected them in Minnesota. On the road, they're a 21-point-a-game team, and at home, they're 40. Yeah.
No, I'm not disputing that.
And the defense didn't really give me a lot of confidence, even though it is Kyle Orton.
Yeah. That's the main reason I'm not against Green Bay in this. The monstrous liability of Green Bay is the defense. And I still don't see Buffalo with a wounded Freddie Jackson. I mean, Watkins is really good. He's going to be good for a long time, but he's still being thrown to by Kyle Orton.
And Denver did beat him by 7.
With a backdoor cover.
Yeah, and Green Bay's offense is rolling.
That Denver game wasn't nearly as close as that.
No, I know,
score.
but I just don't know why Green Bay's such a different team on the road.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll correct it a bit, but
yeah, this
Buffalo's
one's definitely
defense
in the mix.
is going to be on pressure, but Green Bay's O-line is playing. I mean, they're playing really well for the most part. They struggled with Detroit, but Rodgers is getting a lot of time. So many people are just playing nickel and dime packages because it's really hard to cover all those receivers. I think this one should be in the mix.
Yep. Yeah, like you said at the open, there's not much.
It's a tough week. All right, the next game up. Houston is plus 6.5 at Indy. This is an
There's another
intriguing dog pick for me.
And no, you're still hard on for Houston. They're not a good team.
No, but neither is Indy.
No, but Indy's like Indy. I'm not comparing them as an overall team, but home and road, they're very similar.
Yeah, I'll gladly back off this game for that simple reason that Indy is at home, but they have absolutely no rushing game, none.
And but Ryan Fitzpatrick in big games shits the bed.
You ever been in a big game?
This is a chance for them to get. I believe
I
they'd be
that. I'm just trying to think. He played for Buffalo, Tennessee, and
would
now Houston. Has he ever been in a big game?
Yes. Last year, the Titans still had a shot at a playoff spot late in the season, and he shit the bed.
Now, Indy's run defense is bad, though. Well, I mean, they shut down Cleveland's rushing game, but I don't trust anything on Indy's defense. They don't get pressure, which is where Fitzpatrick, like virtually all quarterbacks, completely falls apart. Like, I'm not saying bet it, but I'm going to take Houston in the points in this game.
I'll take Indy.
Okay.
Andrew Luck over Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Well, that's absolutely it, but if you can cover... Now, Houston's secondary isn't great, but neither is Indy's O-line. So, I mean, I can see Watt getting to Luck, particularly when there is zero threat of a running game. Zero.
But they'll roll out Luck. He'll call rollouts away from Watt.
If Indy wins this and
like
covers,
when you talk pass rush
it's going to be
Houston,
entirely upon. Oh yeah, Cushing is playing pretty well now.
That's one guy.
Cushing though can shut down Kobe Fleener. Nobody
gets sacks beside Watt.
No, you're right. Cushing isn't bad though for a roided up Jersey boy. No,
but the Fitzpatrick isn't enough to beat Luck at home.
All right. We beg to differ. Next game up, Jacksonville plus 14 at Buffalo.
At Baltimore.
Yes. Sorry. I wrote these down in a rush right before you called me, so that's completely on me. Wow, I'm getting old and stupid. Must be the concussions.
Well, I can think of other reasons, but that's for a different podcast.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, God. Vegas isn't stupid. This screams backdoor cover, but they fucking blew out Miami. They're getting a running game out of Forsett, the Ravens are. Bortles is...
He's really bad. I didn't realize how bad. I was on Football Outsiders a bit tonight.
But how many of his receivers are out now?
Well, yeah, that certainly doesn't help. I mean, maybe he's a little better, but...
And the offensive line is abysmal.
They blew him up. They rated Mettenberger higher than him among the rookies.
Woo!
So
I hate taking always favorites, especially when they're this high. Because one of these, I said it last week, one of these isn't going to cover, and then 3 of them didn't cover.
Yeah.
That were 10 or more. And Carolina won outright.
And Oakland did as well. They were 10
Oakland
points.
was 8. They were only 8 last week. Shuffling of papers means he's checking my math.
And you are correct. Well done.
Was there ever any doubt?
Yeah, actually. All right.
Fuck,
That's it. I can't take
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville against what I still think is Baltimore's weakness is their secondary. I don't think Jacksonville has anything that can test that secondary. Nothing. So
when I bet against Baltimore,
I can't believe I'm
week,
going to lay 14 on Baltimore.
I fucking bet the pizza boy. I took the Dolphins because Nada was out with his drug suspension.
Well, that's why I switched it in our picks.
And I just can't. I can't take the points with Jacksonville, even though I did it in Indy. Just can't.
Okay.
So give me Baltimore.
Yeah, that's.
The only way they stay in the game is if
numbers like 14.
Me too, but how do you pick? What's the reason to pick Jacksonville?
I can't think of one. I mean, if they had decent receivers, you're right. It screams backdoor cover.
Houston beat them by 14.
Baltimore can and will shut down the run. Baltimore can and will pressure Bortles. And he's
Houston
terrible
shut
under
down the
pressure. Flacco, we're not fans of his, but he's been playing damn good football lately. With the exception of the first quarter and a bit in Miami, he looked bad. But, I mean, he looked sharp against San Diego in that loss.
Well, he's top 10. I was looking at ESPN stats. He's top 10 in QBR, which is their newfangled quarterback rating.
Yeah, it's about 3 years old now. But
No, I know. But everybody still goes by the quarterback rate, the other one, the passer rating.
Yeah. But
it's more prevalent. But QBR is still...
Yeah, no, it's as valid as the other one. And also Baltimore ranks really highly as a DVOA team on Football Outsiders with those metrics. So, and Jacksonville doesn't.
Yeah, give me Baltimore.
Okay. Next game up, Miami plus 7.5 at New England.
Fuck, these games suck. Well, Miami always plays New England tough.
Yep. That said, it's a vengeance game for New England, plus they have to win out. Well, they don't have to, but you know what I mean. They have
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs regardless.
Yes, but they want Denver coming to New England and not the reverse. They really do want that badly. Their defense played a tremendous game against the Chargers. Tannehill, after a really nice midseason, is falling off. I mean, I think New England and Baltimore's defense, they're comparable. Miami doesn't seem to have anything of a running game anymore.
No, that's New England's was their weak spot, but it looked like they corrected that against the Chargers and the Packers to some degree.
Little injuring trip never hurts.
Yeah. Well, it was Ryan Matthews. He gets hurt fucking taking a drink of Gatorade.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
He had a good stretch of 6 games last year to get a contract and been the same story as the first 2 years. So
he didn't get a contract.
Oh, well, that's good for you guys.
Yeah.
I am taking the Patriots. Fuck, I can't bet on the Dolphins on the road against Brady. The half point fucking blows, but that's why Vegas
I'm coming
does
back to this one.
Nah, fuck. You're going to take the Patriots.
Probably. Next game up, Oakland +10 at KC.
Raiders.
You want the Raiders, eh?
Yeah.
Well,
I know it's a division game.
It's a division game.
They beat Kansas City already. 24-20. Granted, it was a Thursday night game, and Oakland was the home team. But remember, Kansas City just came off a physical game, and we're wondering about these teams playing physical defenses. Well, Seattle, this favors Dallas later on down the road here in our picks. Every team that's the last few weeks that has played Seattle has played like shit the next week. Arizona lost to Atlanta.
Yeah. That said, I can't
The Niners
believe
looked like
even
shit against
Andy
Oakland.
Reid is thick enough to only rush the ball 14 times for a third week in a row. I think Oakland's
still
run
taking
defense
Oakland.
gets torn up. They won their Super Bowl. They're probably still partying in Oakland. I'm going to take KC. I'm going to lay the
I
points
can't lay
with
double
KC.
digits in fucking that many games. Because I'm going to be laying double digits in another game coming up. So
Okay, fair enough.
one of them is going to cover. It's probably Jacksonville, but I can't in good conscience. I like Derek Carr.
I really do like him too. I like Michael Rivera too, the tight end. I like him quite a bit. And Holmes is actually a decent wideout too, though Oakland's line is so atrocious that he almost never sees a deep ball. You know, Carr, like everyone's saying, his average per pass is so low. Well, often that's because he just has to get rid of the goddamn ball.
But the problem in Kansas City is a lack of wideouts. They don't score a lot of points even when they win. I can't see him putting up 35 here.
Yeah?
Unless Carr shits the bed and throws 2 picks for touchdowns. They just don't score.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like Carr too. I mean, you put that out there in the preseason that he looked really good, and I still think he's the best of this rookie crop. That said, the San Francisco game was so statistically out of line with everything else he's done. You know, I think KC will get pressure. I think KC wins this one because it's pretty much do or die time for them. And I think Oakland is still strutting about beating that bitch-ass motherfucker, Colin Kaepernick.
I just don't think Kansas City's going to score enough to cover 10.
Fair enough.
And division games, we've seen it all
Yeah, that's
year.
true.
The division games are totally different animals.
Yeah, and Reed not known for his grace under pressure.
No.
But, okay. Next game up is Pittsburgh at Atlanta, and it is off the board.
Yay.
Because of Julio Jones, I'm assuming.
Yeah. That would be my guess, too, unless Ryan got banged up or Roethlisberger. Didn't Roethlisberger have an injury before the
That was
Cincinnati
2 weeks
game?
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking
that was
like
the
broken
thumb
wrist
on the
or something.
helmet, and yeah, he only threw for, I don't know, close to 400 yards the next week.
350.
That wouldn't have been a story if it was Carr. Put it that way. It's just
Yeah,
'cause
but
it's the Steelers.
I can see Pittsburgh fucking shit in the bed here again.
God, I would love them too. Atlanta,
too,
by
but-
the way, has beaten Arizona and offensively at least given Green Bay all they could handle.
Yeah, but
Without Julio, they've got little. Like, Harry Douglas is fine. He's a good number 3 wideout. I think Smith is he needs a long off season to rehab.
Which Smith?
Or Roddy White, sorry.
Oh.
Roddy
Like
White.
you're talking about Mike Smith? He's going to have a long off season if they don't win that division.
Yeah.
No, if Julio Jones doesn't play, it's fucking Pittsburgh's secondary is atrocious. No, I'm taking Atlanta at home. Pittsburgh doesn't put it together 2 weeks in a row. Roethlisberger did it for 2 games where he had the 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, Indy.
And they got beat by the fucking Jets.
Yeah, destroyed by the Jets.
And then they come out and do what they did in the fourth quarter. That was like a kitchen sink game for them, I think.
I'm taking Pitt right now, but you know what? This one could change as late as Saturday.
Yes, if Julio's not playing, I'll probably switch it. But
yeah, I mean, he's so pivotal.
Because I don't know how they're stopping. The only way they stay in this game is offensively with Julio Jones. Because Le'Veon Bell could probably rush for another 150.
Oh, against this defense? Yeah, I'm liking my Pitt thing. I'm feeling a little more secure about that. Though, it was pointed out he's going to get over 400 touches this year, too. So, save your money, LeVay. Your career will not be a long one.
Okay, come back to me on that one. I just might have talked myself into the Steelers, but fuck.
Okay. Next game up is also off the board. Tampa Bay at Carolina. Because Cam Newton rolled his truck 4 times this afternoon.
Yeah, he's got to be out for the year, isn't he?
No, he broke the same bones in his back that Romo did.
Oh, okay, transverse.
Yeah, but 2 of them. So I don't know, does that multiply it? Or does that increase the damage exponentially?
Yeah, I didn't see anything late tonight when I was looking, but...
Yeah, I saw the injury thing that they're keeping him in, they're keeping him in hospital for observation, but he'll be out of the hospital tomorrow, but no game status, and that was the injury they listed, was 2 transverse fractures.
Yeah, but he didn't even want to get in the ambulance.
Yeah, I mean, Romo came out and played more in that Washington game.
Yeah.
Pain is something a football player does handle a lot better than your average citizen.
So we'll see. Okay, I want to leave this one blank till I find out.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
What's going on? Like, you can leave it blank when you post it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Doug, be warned. We're just not picking that until we get some more information. Too bad we hadn't bet Tampa Bay yesterday.
No, I think I'd still take Carolina even.
Yeah, well, after Tampa Bay had been plucky for the longest time, but Detroit sort of crushed their spirit, as they have a tendency to do with that defense.
Well, and Carolina seems to be running the ball again.
Yeah.
Jonathan Stewart had a big game last week. But who knows? In that shitty division, anything could happen.
Yeah, does beating New Orleans mean anything? Particularly at home this year. 4 home defeats for the Saints. So, anyway, all right. Next game up. Washington plus 6.5 at the Giants. Fuck you, Vegas. I hate this number.
Yeah, I don't want to bet this game.
Fuck, I hate this number. I wanted to just bet against Washington.
No, but
through the string, but it's a division game, as you said.
Strange thing happens in the NFC East. New York's not good. That game against Tennessee was more of an indictment on Tennessee than it was on fucking the Giants' return to greatness. Fuck, Eli Manning was average.
Oh, I never would have stated, or even thought that the Giants were good. But Washington is really motherfucking bad.
How come you hear nothing about the running backs anymore? Morris doesn't give fucking nothing. You don't hear nothing about him.
My coworker Dave started Morris in his fantasy league, and he got like 1 point. Wouldn't you think with Colt McCoy, RG3, Kirk Cousins, whoever, when you've got nothing starting at quarterback, wouldn't you run the ball more? This is why we thought Gruden was a terrible choice for a head coach.
No, but all the head coaches are that dumb now. It's all passing. And when you look at the teams like Seattle, that got back to basics, running the ball with Lynch, and maybe they were saving him when they weren't using him that much at the first part of the year. So he wasn't so worn down.
I think it was a fractured team, and somehow Pete Carroll has done his charming magic and gotten this team on the right track. I honestly think this might, arguably, if Seattle keeps playing like they're playing, I think maybe Pete Carroll should be coach of the year.
Could be. But I'm still taking
later.
I'm still taking the Giants.
I have to, too.
Washington's awful. Their Colt McCoy's big win when everybody clamored for him was against the aforementioned Titans. And they beat us by a point. 19-18.
Yeah, and that defense. The Indy game, and then once again last week in St. Louis, there have been receivers with 20 yards of space around them.
Although St. Louis did get a punt return for a touchdown in that game too. It's not like their offense was.
Special teams are really good though.
No, but it's not like the Washington defense was brutal.
Well, Jared Cook was left alone with 20 yards after Kobe Fleener was left alone with 20 yards. Like, half the time there doesn't seem to be a member of the secondary within spitting distance of at least one receiver on a play.
Yeah.
Eli is not a good quarterback, particularly, but he's light years ahead of whoever's starting for St. Louis. Hill.
Yeah.
He's going to pick it apart unless that secondary gets fixed. All he does is blitz, 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 which may work, but I'm still going to lay the 6.5.
Yeah.
Next game up, we cannot bet. It is Denver -4 at Seattle, or at San Diego. I wish it was Seattle.
Yeah, this is your season. Well, not yet. Kansas City's your season.
This is pretty close.
Now, you only got to win 2 out of 3. You can afford to lose this one, but then you'd have to win out.
We did shut down the running game. This line translates to Denver being about a 10-point favorite in Denver. That's not unrealistic. I got to take Denver in this, too.
Yeah, I'm taking Denver, too.
I wish, that it didn't matter to Denver.
No, they have to win out.
I do like the idea that Denver is relying heavily on the run recently, and San Diego, shockingly, played the run really stout without giving up the pass. San Diego's defense played a fucking great game last week.
Yeah, well, Julius Thomas is coming back.
Oh, yay. I did not know that.
That'll hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll get their passing game back. It just takes another. It just means the safeties can't fucking help on the corner on the wideouts. So,
well, I hope Ingram keeps eating whatever he's eating and is just a terror like he was last week. God, he was good.
He was very good, but I can't.
No, I'm taking Denver too.
I hate to take Denver here, but there's at 4 points. And they're a different team on the road too. But
they're still a good team, and their defense has been playing pretty well. And they're gonna look and they'll
do the same thing New England did to the center.
Undrafted center. Yeah. You read my mind there. Undrafted center who had never played center before. they're just going to eat him up again. And yeah, it takes an interior rush versus the edge, but he was so confused. It was terrible to watch. And I'm not saying he's a dreadful human being or anything, but sometimes you just shouldn't be in the position. You know?
Yeah, he's overmatched. You can't.
Yeah,
There's nothing you can do. But Denver, like San Diego's chance, the way they beat Denver last year was running the ball and controlling time of possession, and they can't run the ball. Well, and it's based on their offensive line.
No, and my advice though is to go back to when San Diego has lost this year, it's like we're trying to push the ball down the field. Do what we did versus Baltimore. Get that ball out in 1.5 seconds. Play a lot of interior slot matchups. Denver is open to that. New England tore it up doing that. Just get the ball. Don't worry about yards through the air on the ball. Just get it to people. And, they'll have to break a tackle here and there. I give San Diego about a 25% chance to win this game.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, we're not a terrible football team, so. All right. Speaking of terrible football teams, next game up we cannot bet on. It is the New York Jets, -2. The Jets are a road favorite going to Tennessee.
Just take the Jets. We don't need to talk about the game. Chris Johnson will play a lot in this one because the Jets are playing for nothing. Could this be a tank off?
I was wondering that too.
The only difference between the two teams is Rex Ryan's gone and Wisenhunt's not. So Rex doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So he'll try and win the game just to fuck him.
You're actually following my thought process from about 2 hours before the podcast. In fact, he would love to win this game to fuck the Jets organization.
Yep.
So, and their run defense is good. Well, I don't know.
And we don't run the ball. We're going back to Locker at quarterback.
The only person in Western Canada who watches any of this game on television.
Probably.
I wish we could get numbers on that.
Oh, no, the New York numbers will be okay.
No, I mean in Western Canada.
Oh.
Because they're, Titans fans aren't spread out like Steelers or Cowboys fans.
No, there's only about 3 of us.
Okay. Next game up, Minnesota +8 at Detroit.
Oh, man. That game even made me yawn. I don't know what. Minnesota's defense, I know Detroit's offenses looked better. And the Jets were able to get that game to over. They put up 24 points on Minnesota's D in Minnesota. Like, that's what I can't figure out. They keep Rodgers to 24 and give up 24 to fucking the Jets.
Yeah.
Is Reggie Bush playing again this century?
I don't think so. I don't think it matters. Joik Bell was the better back, and he's had 2 monster weeks for Detroit. Admittedly, one of those came against Chicago, so I'm not certain it counts officially.
Well, and one of his monster touchdowns this past week came off a deflected ball at the line that fell in his lap, and he ran it in.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah. Batted down at the line. He was kept into block, and it fell to him at like the 10, and he ran it in.
Oh, that's like the KC touchdown to Fasano earlier in the year.
Yeah, but he was actually on his feet and just ran.
Oh, okay.
But still, yeah, similar circumstance. Batted ball at the line, and he picks it. It's usually an offensive lineman that gets those, but this found Joik Bell. So okay. I'm still taking Detroit. Calvin Johnson's getting more and more healthy. I don't think Minnesota can score.
May have had his slump in the middle of the season rather than at the end. I like Detroit in this one too. Almost enough to consider it. Detroit's defense, and you've been touting them for 2 months. Detroit's defense is monstrous. I was reading again on Football Outsiders. They are in the top 10 of all defenses versus the rush.
Yeah.
Like from 1989, which is as deep as their databases go thus far. So that's a long time.
Yeah, and Minnesota's...
That's a quarter of a century, and they are really on DVOA. They are one of the best ever.
And their top running back is out for the year. McKinnon's out for the year for Minnesota. They have a rookie quarterback against that defense.
Who has only performed well against Atlanta and the Jets.
But what scares me with betting this game is Detroit scored against Tampa and Chicago.
Yeah. But is Minnesota that far removed from Tampa and Chicago?
Defensively, yes.
I think Tampa's defense is close.
No.
At least when McCoy's in the picture. I mean, we're getting down to the nuts. I know the game that you want to bet, and I'm fine with that coming up. But
you don't know me.
But I think this might have to be in the mix.
Yeah,
I know
we'll keep
it's a
it
lot
in the
of
mix.
points to lay, but Detroit's a really good football team. Now, I'm just going to bring up, I know we're both a bit gun-shy about betting on Detroit, but that's from past years.
No, I'm not. That has nothing to do with it. It's their offense that scares me.
They're at home, though, too. Detroit, like Indy, like all that, is a much better team at home.
Yeah, what's Minnesota going to get? 10 points?
Yeah.
If that.
I can easily envision Detroit getting 24, 27, 31 in that range.
Yeah, well, we'll keep it in the mix. We've only got one other game in the mix, so.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's what I said, because, I mean, Mitch will probably scream at us for cursing them if we bet on them, but fuck you. Next up, we have San Fran plus 10 at Seattle. You previewed it last week. Yeah.
We have to. San Francisco's in disarray. We talked about their situation with Harbaugh in our recap of Week 14. If you want to listen to that, we won't rehash that again.
Yeah, we talked about that at length.
Kaepernick is lost. Don't know what they've done to him he doesn't run anymore. Oakland sacked him 5 times. And the biggest thing is Pete Carroll hates Jim Harbaugh and vice versa. He's going to want to stomp him into the dirt in this game. And this is going to resemble that game where they beat him by 35 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you have any reason why we shouldn't bet this game?
No, and we're going to bet this game, but I just want to bring up a couple of caveats there. One, Seattle pretty much utterly and completely dominated the Niners on Thanksgiving, but still only won by 16.
Yeah, on the road, though.
Yeah, and admittedly that field goal was very much official aided. 2 was something you said yourself about 7 or 8 weeks ago, which was every time we want to put a stake through the Niners' hearts, they turn around and fuck us.
They're not going to. They're done. Their season's over. They're not making the playoffs, even if they win out.
Yeah, I guess, and I mentioned, or I alluded to it before, with when the Raiders linebackers are calling Kaepernick a bitch-ass motherfucker in the tunnel. You saw that?
Yep. It's going to be on the website tomorrow.
Yeah, this team, Seattle will shut down Gore and Hyde. And without the running game, Kaepernick's nothing. They've got better pursuit linebackers and safeties if the Niners will pull out the zone option this game, by the way.
Yeah, but Wagner and who else they get back? Chancellor back has turned that defense around.
Yeah. No, we're going to bet this game. It's no doubt.
With the Niners, they're lost. If you lose to Oakland this year, Oakland was 1-11 going into this game with the Niners last week.
And the Niners don't appear to worry about being humiliated.
No, well, they got beat 19-3, and then Oakland beat them.
Yeah. and to use my little metric, so on neutral field, Seattle would be +7, and the Niners would be 4-point dogs at home. I think that understates it. You're right. We're betting this game.
They're horrible right now.
Yeah.
Like, I thought their defense would win the game in Oakland, even the way Kaepernick's been playing. But you said you watched a bunch of that game.
I watched
carved them up.
Carr absolutely carved them up. Now, Seattle scoring 10 is always dodgy. They could win this game 9-0.
No.
But what the fuck? Let's lay the 10.
The biggest rivalry for Seattle and Pete Carroll and the crowd in Seattle. This is the game they want to dominate. And they're starting to look like the team that won the Super Bowl.
Oh, I'm starting to think they might win the Super Bowl again. I really am.
And the other thing we have in our favor is if St. Louis beats Arizona, that game's for first place.
Yeah. No, I love this game. You're right. I mean, I called it at 9. I hate that extra point. But Seattle doesn't seem like a team that gives up backdoor covers.
This is a blowout waiting to happen.
You're
they want
right.
to
This is
embarrass
angry.
San Francisco.
Like, we don't have to worry about them having a 14-point lead and partying on the sidelines in the last drive. They want to hurt the Niners. They want to hurt Kaepernick. They want to destroy Harbaugh. And, yeah, all right. I'm down.
This game will be over at the half. That's the only concern. But
yeah, we'll see how much Seattle
running.
Scores. I mean,
Kaepernick's not running. He's not beating Seattle's
No,
defense.
they will bring out the zone read, zone option.
They're not.
They will bring it out this week.
No, Marlon, the time to bring it out was the last game against Seattle, and they didn't. They didn't bring it out against the Raiders. He got sacked 5 times against the Raiders. They're not bringing it out. The time for panic was 2 weeks ago, and they haven't brought it out.
But
they're not making the playoffs.
Time for panic, so.
But they're not making the playoffs.
No,
they're 7-6. 7-6.
Oakland.
even if they win out, they're 10-6. That's not getting them in the playoffs. And they're not beating Seattle this week.
No, I'm not arguing. Okay. Moving on, the Sunday night game is Dallas +3 at Philly. I am not touching this with a 10-foot motherfucking pole.
No. I'm hoping for the Seattle hangover for Philly, just for our bet.
Yep. Well, Dallas needs this game. They absolutely need this game. But I think their coach, the Ginger Nightmare, is one of the worst coaches out there, period.
DeMarco Murray's getting the ball 30 times this week. It's the only way they win.
Yeah. That wasn't good enough. I mean, can that defense... We talked about St. Louis has turned into the defense we thought they would be. Is Dallas's defense turning into that? What we thought they would be?
No. Where they struggled was when Murray wasn't getting the ball. The reason they looked so dominant at the first part of the season, or the first half of the year, or 2/3 of the year, was because they kept them off the field. And they were gassed. They had to have learned. I can't believe that the offensive coaches are that dumb.
All 30 of them?
You got to run the ball. Seattle beat them running the ball. That's how. Well,
and as you said, the Thanksgiving game was follow a Sunday night with a Thursday.
They had a day to prepare.
Yeah. I'm really hoping...
For the players,
I can't pick a Philly game to save my motherfucking life. I'm just gonna go with you. You have a better read on the NFC East, which I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
I'm taking Philly.
You're taking Philly?
Yeah, I'm cheering for Dallas, but I'm taking Philly.
Oh, really?
I can't. The last game wasn't even close.
Well, I'm following you.
But
I'm just following you on this one.
Our only hope for our legacy bet with the Cowboys is if Philly has a Seattle hangover, like the last two teams have had. And if Jason Garrett has his head out of his ass.
He just hasn't had his head out of his ass in 25 fucking years.
And Dallas's corners aren't exactly Richard Sherman, so they're not going to hold Sanchez to 96 yards passing.
No, a lot of that was pressure. You just got to take away his first read. It seems so simple to me.
But if DeMarco Murray gets 25 to 30 touches, Dallas wins, I don't have the confidence in Jason Garrett to do that. So that's why I'm taking Philly.
Jason Garrett's a goddamn joke. All right. And the Monday Nighter. This is Titans, really. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to actually use the team name. I don't know, hurricane from the bayou goes to meet the monsters of the Midway. New Orleans -3 at Chicago.
And I mentioned this to you last night after the podcast. Has there ever been a team as bad as the Saints favored this much?
On the road?
No, all year. Like, it's never changed. They've been favored in almost every fucking game.
The Giants are favored by 6.5.
No, but the Giants haven't been favored all year.
Oh,
New Orleans
has
been favored all fucking year. They get beat at home, they're favored by 10 against Carolina. Like, that should have been 6 max, the way they've played at home. They're getting way more respect from Vegas than they deserve. And you may brought up a good point that you'd heard or read that the Sharps in Vegas had the Saints high in their power rankings.
Always.
But
they've just been pouring money down a Saints sewer all year, but they refuse to drop them. Yes, I have read that from multiple sources, that the Saints are heavily bet by the Sharps every week.
But Mark Trestman looks lost. Forte seems to be an afterthought when he's the best weapon they have.
No, he's been getting over 100 yards, and that it's just mostly through the air.
But without Brandon Marshall, the Saints suck on the road.
Well, no, actually, they've been better on the road.
No, but they're still a bad team on the road.
At home, I mean,
they're still a bad team on the road.
Like this is why I can't understand Pittsburgh. New Orleans comes in and destroys them.
Without Brandon, I can't take the Bears.
I'm taking the Bears. You know
New
what?
Orleans
Maybe
still has
with
something
his
to play
BFF
for.
gone forever, Brandon Marshall, maybe Cutler will actually notice that he has Alshon Jeffrey, that he has Matt Forte, that he has a pretty good tight end in Bennett.
But that Bears defense has been the soothing elixir for many a quarterback this year.
Very much so. But who's catching the ball in New Orleans? Like,
I
it
don't
used
care.
to be, everyone didn't kill Hall, and that's maybe
the
why
Bears,
the Sharps are betting them.
How are they stopping Jimmy? No.
Now,
The Bears aren't going to stop Jimmy Graham. The Bears defense is historically awful. I'm taking the Saints. I can't believe I'm taking the Saints, but because I've been the one that said they're bad against them on the road, but the Bears are that bad at home.
I'm taking the Bears.
All
right.
So we've had 3 games we liked, so I guess we're betting all 3 of those.
Well, and just before that, though, I hadn't decided on Miami, New England. You're right. I should have just called it. Taking New England.
All right, and we're gonna put our picks up.
And you also wanted, though Atlanta Pittsburgh is off right now. I mean, that's something that's going to be coming up late this week, I think. It's off the board. Currently, you have Atlanta. You were thinking about switching to Pitt.
Just put me with Atlanta for now, and if I want to change it, I'll change it.
And Tampa Bay, Carolina, we are not posting any numbers until, let's call it, Saturday.
Okay.
All right.
Or until we find out what's happening with... I can't believe... Newton's not going to play, but we'll see what the line is, even with Brian Anderson quarterbacking for Carolina. I still think they're probably favored by 1.
Oh, good research. I had no idea who would be stepping in.
We started the year for him.
Okay.
But...
All right, we only have 3 texts here.
I still think Carolina's favored. Yeah,
we are taking all favorites again.
Well, who?
Yeah, I know. No, the only dog pick I really liked was Miami, and I swiftly. Oh, no, I liked. Oh Jesus! No, there's nothing. There's nothing.
You took the Bears, but
yeah, no,
I wouldn't bet on
bet
that.
money on that shit show. All right, so let's book Green Bay -5 at Buffalo.
All right, our $10 bet pays $19.09. Okay, then we also have Detroit -8 at home against the Vikings. $10 bet pays $19.09 again. Booked. And we also have, we're laying big points this week. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I know. We're laying 23 points and 3 bets. Jesus.
Seattle. Well,
no, you're not wrong.
Seattle -10 at home against the Niners in the largest spread in the Jim Harbaugh era in San Francisco. $10 pays $19.52. Booked. The only underdog pick and it's a Thursday night game, with Arizona.
No,
their defense on the road. That would be the only one I would consider, and I took St. Louis, but
I liked Houston. That was the only underdog pick I kind of liked.
Ryan Fitzpatrick on the road.
No, fair enough. Like, we're not doing it. I'm just saying I like Houston in this game.
You liked Houston all year, and they're 7-6.
Yeah, but I believe they're like 9-4 against the spread.
But who's their big win against?
I don't care about winning. I care about covering.
Yeah, well, on the road, they covered Jacksonville.
I'm just saying that was the underdog that I would have argued for.
Yeah.
All right.
I
will
acquiesced
recap this
last week for you with Jacksonville, with Houston, so don't expect it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but we won money on that.
No, I know, but it's Indy, not Jacksonville.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, to recap our bets, we have Green Bay -5 at Buffalo. 10 pays 19.09. We have Detroit -8 at home versus Minnesota. 10 pays 19.09. And we have Seattle laying a whopping 10 against the Niners. 10 pays 19.52. So there's been some action on the Niners.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, not much. I'm not going to change the line, but...
It'll probably be 11 or 12 by the weekend.
Yeah, and if it was 10.5, I'd be arguing with you a lot more on that. But honestly, I like that pick. Seattle's just a much better team right now. And so, only one non-divisional game. Makes me worry about that Detroit pick, but...
No, you made a good case for Detroit. Great against the run. I don't think a scrambling quarterback will be too much for him, and pass rush won't. It's not. Their corners could be a liability, but with that pass rush and the ability to stop the run, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I like Detroit's defense a lot, and that's a case you've been making for 2 months.
They only really had one bad game against New England, so.
And that happens.
All right. So if you want to check out our podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device, on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Our personal Twitter accounts at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd, Facebook.com/Offensive Lines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. That was our pick show for Week 15.
Always lay the points with Colin Kaepernick on the road.
Degenerate fucking gambler.